I'm Karina. I'm a science communicator, but also a scientist and more recently a educational VR innovator. So I'm here today talking to the students about the work I've done in science communications, but more specifically the work I've done around virtual reality and using virtual reality to educate. So the students are actually trying out some of the VR that we've created called the virtual plant cell, and that takes them inside of a plant cell so they can learn all about things that happen there and also about research that some of the scientists that I work with do with cells. The relevance of STEM skills to me has kind of diversified with time because I started out as a biologist myself. These days I represent scientists who have those biology skills, researchers who are computational biologists, so they've got the technology aspects, or those that are using the technologies that we have in a biotech realm to actually investigate and explore plants and their cell materials. At the same time, as a science communicator now, I've started to use technology to communicate science with, so this is the virtual reality technology. So I've found I've really broadened the STEM areas that I engage with, and as a result I guess I've had to broaden my STEM skills. But it's been really cool to see and represent researchers who are also applying all of these STEM skills towards real-world challenges. They're looking at plants to try and solve future food security issues, and so they're taking their STEM skills and they're applying them in ways that actually have these amazing relevant outputs for the world. Depending on the industry that we're talking about, whether it's the science communications industry or whether it's the plant and molecular sciences industry, there are different applications of technology in both those worlds. In the context of the plant biology world that I align with and sit alongside researchers working with, there are constantly these amazing technology developments that are being applied. We're talking like molecular biotechnology, but also technologies out in the field and in farming and in agriculture that are allowing us to take everything from what we learn in the lab all the way through to what happens out in the field and for farming, all on that pipeline to try and improve the future of food security. At the same time, in the world that I operate in as a science communicator, my baby has become virtual reality and augmented reality technologies, and so I'm very much in the space of seeing how we can take that and use it effectively for education in particular. And I think in science and STEM, trying to educate and inform around that, where it's these really difficult to conceptualise worlds or places that you realistically can't visit, like the inside of the cell or out in outer space, we can kind of use virtual and augmented reality technologies to take people to these worlds, immerse them in it, and it really helps with that education. And we've seen outputs and positive outcomes with the virtual reality that we've used to date, and I can see a real future for virtual reality and augmented reality in education. I don't know if I'd give myself advice, but rather on reflection, I look at how I've ended up where I've ended up, and it's that not linear path, career path. I've gone from liking genetics back in year 11 to now being a VR expert, and it's gone all over the place. But the thing that was consistent every step of the way was me reflecting on what it was that I was enjoying and what I was passionate about, and then pursuing what came up in that sort of space or along that vein. And so I think that the advice that I would have given myself was stick with that approach rather than stressing over, well, how do I plan out my future career? Rather, what do I enjoy in this moment, and how can I learn skills and then figure out how to apply them after the fact to carve out a career that I'm actually going to enjoy. If a student is interested in something, pursue that. And there'll be a way of embedding that or bridging that or taking that and applying it, probably in a STEM world, but quite possibly extending it out into other disciplines as well. And equally, I guess, looking at the STEM disciplines and recognising that they all cross over and there are intersections. So I spoke to a student earlier who said, I'm not good at maths. And there's no such thing. You might have a different take on your math skills, or it might not be something that you see as a strength, but it doesn't mean that you can't take some sort of skill set or discipline and apply in some way if you've got a passion around it. And so I think the advice really would be to don't doubt yourself, but rather just keep pursuing what you're interested in and passionate about and take those skills forward. And STEM skills especially are always going to have a relevance across the board, so it's a good place to be.